In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast, James Barlowe is going to share his thoughts and observations from the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. And in the next episode, we will preview the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Stay tuned. Shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. I am your host, Rafael Barlowe, the director of scouting for NBA Big Board and the founder of NBA Draft Junkies. And my co-host for today is my brother, James Barlowe. We are extremely tired. My flight back from Dubai, I had some layovers. I looked it up. 1 day, 1 hour, and 56 minutes. That's how long it took me to get back.
I think I was 22 hours. Might have been 23.
And that's not even including the 2 hours. You got to get to the airport early and so on. But I had like a 7-hour layover in London. I was only supposed to be like 2 hours, but something happened. I just remember getting on the plane, falling asleep, woke up, and the plane was still on the ground. Woke up again, it was still on the ground. So anyway, all right, let's get right into, I know the first weekend has passed and we didn't get a chance to recap or share our thoughts on what happened the opening weekend. It was a very interesting weekend. All the number one seeds are still around. I wouldn't say there was any like major upsets outside of Kentucky, but I just want to hear some of your observations. What is like the number one observation you had from the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament?
Draft related, I want to say the number one observation was I came away from watching Dayton and DaRon Holmes very impressed, feeling very good about where I have him on my big board.
Yeah, I have DaRon Holmes as a first round pick. I honestly don't know why other people aren't on board. You're talking about a guy that's athletic. He blocks shots. He can shoot the three. He was 2 of 4 from three. He had a good game against his home state, Arizona Wildcats. I don't understand why people aren't fully on board. I've seen, I think, one site, and of course, people update, but I saw him as low as like the low 50s right before the tournament. Like, from your perspective, what was it that DaRon did that makes you comfortable where you have him, and what impressed you about his performance against Arizona?
Just watching him move and how he moves, he just gives me skinny Al Horford vibes, man. And I see him as more than a rim runner. Like you saw him picking and popping against Arizona, right? He has the motor. He blocks shots. Like he won't have the physicality that Al Horford has, excuse me, because Al's still out there doing it. But like at 6'10", 220, like he's gonna be able to grab rebounds and dribble up the court. He's going to be able to pick and pop. He put the ball on the ground against Arizona, attacking their big man in isolation. Like, he just checks so many different boxes. I don't know if because people think he's a junior and he went to Dayton, like, he's the production is fake or whatever. But, like, I just see skinny Al Horford out there, man. And I think I had him top 15. I think he's a top 15 pick in this draft. Now, there's going to be other guys you may say, okay, Misi has upside because he's a couple years younger. And, you'll say Filipowski is this, and Donovan Clingan had a good showing as well. But I just feel like DaRon Holmes is going to be a very, very good NBA player.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I know DaRon shot like 14% from three as a freshman. And I know this may sound crazy, but I don't see a situation in 2 years where Svi Missy, who I like Missy, is shooting 38% from three in 2 years. I don't think Missy will have the same skill level as DaRon Holmes. And I think DaRon is a very, very underrated passer. So you're talking at the minimum vertical lob threat, pick and pop threat, again, 38% from three. And he is someone that can make a play in the middle of the floor. When I look at big men today, and maybe it's because I watch a lot of Dallas because I live in Dallas, but I seen like last year when teams would trap Luka and they gave the ball to like Dwight Powell in the middle of the floor, he wouldn't even turn around. Like if he were facing Luka on the trap, he'd have his back turned to the basket and he's looking to like get a ball away. But DaRon is a guy, if you have him next to a guy that's going to get trapped, you can give him the ball in the middle of the floor at the foul line, and I think he can make a play, whether it's putting the ball down and attacking, whether it's attacking and making the right read to the man in the corner for three when someone helps. I think he's a guy that can be a safety valve if a team is trapping his best playmaker on his team. So I think his passing is so underrated, and I think that people are making a mistake by not having him as a first round lock.
Yeah, man. Like, and I see he has enough of a post game where he should be able to attack when teams switch their point guards onto him, or just even a small forward. Again, I'm not saying he's Embiid on the block or Jokic or anybody like that, but you give him the ball on the block with a guard on him or a shooting guard or even some small forwards, I feel like he can score. And like you mentioned before, because he can pass, if they decide to, hard double, he's gonna hit guys on the cutter, hit corner three. So like I just watching him play, man, he reaffirmed everything that I had been seeing in him all year.
Yeah. Again, I would tell teams don't overthink it. Athleticism, passing, shooting,
Motor,
motor, and there
shot
is some
blocking.
face-up game. Like he has the tools. So I think that he is grossly, grossly underrated in this draft process. All right. When we return, I'm going to ask James a few more observations that he had from the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. But I want to talk to you about eBay Motors because passion, drive, and patience, that is what brings home the winning trophy. And it is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, whether it's superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. That's because they have over 122 million parts, and you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you will get your money back. That's because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. And with all the parts you need at the prices you want, it is easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that W. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply, and the eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Do you hate having to turn down the volume because all they're doing is shouting? Well, make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week streaming channel programmed to you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all of the screaming. And Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, in the opening segment, James talked about DaRon Holmes. That was one of his biggest observations from the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. What's another one that you have for me?
Hey, man, Virginia basketball, man.
Oh,
Tired of
man.
them. Tired of
Yeah,
them.
man. Snooze fest.
Tired of them, man. Can't what Mike Singletary say? Can't win with them. Can't do it. They've won
No.
since they won that championship. They've like been out in the first round since. And I've seen excuses being made talking about their graduate program is tough and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, look who they're losing to, man. Like they lost to Ohio one year. Shout out to Jason Preston. I'm not buying it. You can't recruit at Virginia, or you're not getting the guys, or you need NBA players at Virginia. Like I said, we just saw Northwestern win, So it's just like I'm tired of them. It is what it is. I'm gonna pick the as long as they make it to the tournament, I'm picking them to lose just because they can't score, man. Was it 300 and let me read this right? 356th ranked offense out of 362 Division One teams. Can't I don't get it, man. I'm tired of it, man.
I'm not tired of. You know why?
Why is that?
Because I don't watch Virginia basketball. I watch film on guys. I watch enough, but as far as like from the fan perspective of entertainment and wanting to watch good basketball, I mean Virginia is not it. It's boring. I mean, like I saw the box score where they had like, or not, it wasn't a box score. I think it might have been on
14
Twitter. Yeah, it's
points.
like 14 points. I think they said they went like, I forgot what it was, like 51 minutes of real time without a field goal or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's boring basketball. I mean, do you think the coach should be fired?
I don't think he should be fired, but he needs to take a long look in the mirror of how he's coaching, the guys that he's recruiting. Like it's just not working, man. Like how do you put up 2 touchdowns, man? And like and it's part of it being them, but also like the committee. You got to pick better teams if that's the case. Like the boys at Indiana State, man, they'd have put up way more of a fight, you
Yeah, it would have
know?
been
And
more entertaining, but they're gonna lean towards,
the Power
the
Fives, but
Power
why?
Fives.
But why? I don't get it. And it's like I don't think he should be fired, but he needs to take a long look in the mirror and just reevaluate how he coaches. And it's yeah, that slow it down. I've and if you search UVA in my tweets, man, I've been trashing him for like 4 or 5 years. And I really don't, go out of my way to like disrespect anybody just because that's just not who I am. But like I'm just tired of watching them go out there and try out the same
But
team every year.
can he change though? Like this is how I look at it, right? And this is an analogy. It might go over some people's head. You ever seen a dude that's like in his 40s and he dresses like it's 1996? His pants
Yeah,
still a
man,
little bit baggy.
I'm not gonna mention no names, but yeah, I know.
T-shirts come down to past his elbows. He's got on like some some Team Jordans. And they say like he dresses that way because that is the era where he got the most women in. That was the era where he was cool. So he's not going to change and adjust because he still thinks like he got it. I feel like that's the same with some coaches. I even throw Calipari in that mix, even though
I agree.
he's made they start shooting threes this year. But what made him hot and what made him successful and a multi-millionaire and able to like provide the lifestyle for his family, that is the era or style that he's most comfortable in. And Bennett from Virginia, that is his style. And I don't really see him like making drastic changes. He's probably gonna like make some small changes under pressure. But then if he has the same results, he's gonna be like, I might as well have stuck to what I was good at in the first place. So yeah, that's enough about Virginia basketball, man.
Well, real quick. Unfortunately, though, we got to talk about Ryan Dunn. He's gonna have to catch a stray because he was a part of some of that mess that was out there. And again, it's not all on him. I'm not hating on the young man. I hope he makes NBA money to feed his next family's family. But we got to talk about his offensive game, Ron.
What offensive game?
He airballed a free throw, man. And again, guys airball free throws. It happens. I done seen Ron do it. I see Giannis do it all the time. But those are generational talents. Those are all-time greats. Those aren't guys who we are saying, hey, we're going to take him in the first round because he's such a great defender. It's like, hey, man, I say it again. If you can't score and you're a great defender, you're a DB. And it's like teams aren't guarding him. And I know you've mentioned before you think he's a small ball five. I know he has the athleticism to play the four, but like if he can't shoot, I can't see a situation where he can play more than 24 minutes a game. He's going to be like Andre Robertson. And again, Andre Robertson played, made money, his knee
Hold on,
gave
hold on, hold
out.
on, hold on. I'm gonna cut you off. That was a different era because you
It
could get
was a
away
different.
with him and Perk on the floor. I don't think you can get away in today's NBA and be successful with two like zero threats on offense. And so I think that even makes Ryan Dunn's situation even tougher because unless I think you have to have him on the floor with four guys that can do something with the ball, at least space the floor or threats. But I don't think you can. I don't know if it was Robertson or Roberson. I don't know if he could play in today's NBA next to a Kendrick Perkins in a lineup for 20 something minutes per game because spacing and shooting and offense is so much more prevalent. But I think he's
But
a
he
five.
played with more so with Steven Adams. But again, part of that work is because you have a generational talent scorer in Kevin Durant, where he's gonna draw double teams, and it's gonna be easy enough where you get open corner threes or open dunker spots. But if he's in a different situation, I just can't see how you can play Ryan Dunn if he can't shoot. Like he missed a corner three the other day, and it went wide right. And I'm
Like
like, it's
Scott Norwood field goal wide, right?
yeah, and it's too. I texted you like, yo, man, I don't know if he can feel his fingertips, man. And again, I'm rooting for him to fix his jump shot, at least make it respectable. But I just can't. Me personally, I can't draft a guy in the first round that can't play both ends of the floor.
All
And
right.
again, I understand defense is great, but it's an offensive league.
Do you think he can develop over time like Herb Jones did?
Herb is a was a great playmaker in a sense
Yeah,
at
more
Alabama.
offensive game. Yeah.
Herb can pass. Herb is good in transition, right?
Ryan Dunn is too. In
Herb can attack
transition.
a yeah, Herb can attack a closeout and pass, right? And Herb is still the better shooter than what Ryan Dunn uh is versus when Herb came out of Alabama. So it's like you'd wish that he could do that, but ultimately, guess what? If Herb is off, guess who they putting in the game? Trey Murphy, right?
Yeah.
Because Trey Murphy is 6'10" with a burner and he's athletic. And guess what? You need
Where
that
did
to
Trey
play
Murphy go
with
to
Zion.
school?
He went to Rice.
where where did he finish at?
Hey man, he did that to he promoted himself. I'm not giving I'm not giving him credit,
He
giving him
might
credit for his
I mean, he did go to Rice, but he probably could have been a top 10 pick if he went to a school that had a little bit more offense. But I feel like Virginia has tricked some people. I mean,
They
nah,
ain't tricking me.
I'm not. I won't say that. It was actually, I don't know why. I'm still tired. I was thinking Virginia has tricked people, but I remember they played Texas Tech in that final. But it's Texas Tech that has tricked some people with some of their players. But that was a
Hey,
totally different era. That was the Chris Beard era,
hey.
and so on. But no, with Ryan Dunn, like I'm not as optimistic about his promise on the offensive end. He's a poor foul shooter. I mean, it's like 50% for over 2 years. And I think there's a spot for him in the NBA as a five. I saw a stat that said that Derrick Jones Jr. played like 93% of his minutes last year at the four or the five. He even played some five for Dallas this year in some lineups. And so I just think that is the best role for Ryan Dunn as this small ball five. Of course, you can't have him playing a five when you got like Jokic and Bede or even like Valanciunas or somebody that's going to body him. But I do think in certain lineups, you can get away with him when you want to go small and athletic and run and just kind of have him at the five and have him as the role man. But anything outside of like being a play finisher, well, I think it's a serious, serious uphill battle for him to get to that point.
Hey, real quick. So you said Herb Jones, right?
Yep.
He shot 60% from the foul line for his career at Alabama, and he shot 35% from the three-point line his senior year. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, but what about his sophomore year?
His sophomore year again, and we'll say we'll do the age comparison, right? His sophomore year, he was a 49% free throw shooter, and he shot 29% from three,
All right.
right?
So hold
So
on. So 40, what'd you say? 49?
49 from free throw,
Yeah.
29 from three. Okay. And
So
then we say
if you
Ryan
add them up
Dunn.
together, that's
Yeah.
probably still more than Ryan Dunn.
Yeah. So we'll say Ryan Dunn at 3-point shooting was 20% and free throw shooting was 53%. So it's comparable. However, and this is my thing, Herb Jones was a second round pick, right? That's all I'm saying about Ryan Dunn. I'm not saying he's not an NBA player. I'm not saying he's not an NBA talent. But if we got red flags like that with shooting and offense and creation, just a second round pick to me. And again, he can make it out. Hey, Herb is an all league defender.
But
And
he's providing first round value though.
yeah.
But that's because he made like a crazy transition to being a good shooter. I think that is more rare than common to see a
Yeah,
guy that was a bad shooter over so many years in college develop into like I mean, he's a more than respectable shooter from three right now. I think I saw at one point for like a month, he made like high 40% of his
yeah, he
threes.
was. I want to say he was at close to 40% on the season. Something
Yep.
crazy.
Yep. So, I mean, if you're Ryan Dunn, you look at Herb Jones and you know, maybe that is like the progression that you want to take as a shooter. All right, when we return, we're going to talk about a couple more of James's observations from the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Again, this is a preview to our episode where we are going to talk about the top prospects in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. But I want to tell you about Fire TV because Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. And Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. So whether it is opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. And Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all ad free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all of the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all of the latest in the world of sports, whether it's March Madness, NBA, Major League Baseball, and lots more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. So check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and the Alexa devices. And if you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit amazon.com/lockedonfire TV. All right, last segment. So we talked about Virginia, talked about Ryan Dunn. Another observation that you had from the opening week of the NCAA tournament.
Tyon Grant-Foster is cold at basketball.
Hey, we were on him early. We talked about him back in November, and
Yes.
there are people
Check
that
the
still
archives.
still are did not know about him until the Alabama game. I thought the Alabama game he showed what he's capable of. He ran out of gas at the end, which is expected when you're, but they were a 12 seed or something like that.
Yes.
And, you know, you're going up against, you know, Alabama team that is loaded with high level professional players, not necessarily NBA, but, you know, guys are going to make a living playing professional. So I thought he played well. He showed the shot making, the athleticism, the defense. I thought he showed it in this tournament. I mean, he is a bucket. Some people are, you know, I've heard people say, "Oh, he's older." Then you got the medical concerns. He missed 2 years, and I'll give a brief backstory. He went to Indian Hills Junior College, went to Kansas, left Kansas, goes to DePaul, hits a buzzer beater at halftime in his first game with DePaul, and then he collapsed in the locker room. He had to have multiple heart surgeries. I think they even said like he had to be like revived twice on his way to the hospital. So he missed 16 months. His career was definitely in doubt. It seemed like it was over. Goes to Grand Canyon. I think he had like 28 or 30, something like that in his first game. And then it's been up since then, the rest of the season. I thought he ended on a high note outside of maybe like the last couple of minutes of the game where he ran out of gas. But again, I thought he showed that he is one of the better wings in this class. He can score. He can defend. I think his defense is underrated. But go back in November. I want to say it's like maybe like right around Thanksgiving where we talked about him. So here, the Barlowe brothers, we've been talking about him for a while, and I'm just glad he got a chance to show it off on the national stage.
Yeah, he handles the ball. He elevates on his jump shot. He gets to the rim. Like you said, he's a great defender. I think he was at like a block and a half and a steal and a half throughout the season. And I know you have him in the first round. I think he is definitely a first round talent. But some GMs, some organizations are going to wonder about how much upside does he have left with him being older and then, you know, the medical and whatnot. But That's an NBA player. I said it back in November. I was like, look, dudes that are 6'7" with handles and athleticism and move like that and can score like that and get to the foul line like that, those are NBA players. It's a
And
no-brainer.
rebound. 6
And
rebounds per
rebound.
game. He is a very, very, very good rebounder. I mean, the dude is good against Alabama. He was 9 of 22 from the floor. He was 2 of 7 from three, but he got to the foul line 16 times. I don't know what was
16.
going on. He missed like 7 free throws, but he also chipped in 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals. But you saw the shot making. You saw that it doesn't matter who you put on him. You can't stay in front of him. I mean, he's too dancy with the rock, too crafty, too shifty. He can shoot the pull up. I just think he's going to be really, really good. And at the minimum, he can defend.
Hey, and see, look, this is my thing, right? Those are the guys that I want being my role players at the next level, right? Those are the ones I want to convert into 3-and-D guys, because if there's 3 seconds on the clock, in the shot clock, and he catches a bomb or even 5 seconds, he's going to make something happen, right? He's talented enough to improve as a catch and shoot shooter. Now, again, at Grand Canyon, he had to create a lot of offense for himself. And I haven't got a chance to dig into the catch and shoot numbers, but I'm buying his shooting ability. I'm buying him cutting. I'm buying him being an athlete in transition at the next level. Those are the guys that I want, right? So if he does need to stand in the corner and shoot a three, cool. But you know what? He can also come off a handoff and make a play. He can also cut back door and make a play. He's going to be great in transition. Like I'm completely sold on and have been sold on him as an NBA player for some time.
No, I agree, man. You are preaching to the choir.
Are you
I
going
think,
to mention that we're going to be able to possibly get a sit down with the young
yeah,
fella?
we're working on it. Just
Okay.
got to get out to Arizona. The plan was to go to Arizona for the Final Four, but some things have come up that I don't know if that will make that possible. But look forward to some type of Tyon Grant-Foster exclusive here on the Locked On NBA Big Board channel. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast. Once again, thank you for making the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. And before we go, I want to let you know that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and it is now available on Amazon Fire TV and the free TV channels app. So Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows that cover every league. So find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Once again, it's Rafael with my brother James, and we are out, but we will preview the Elite Eight, or I guess I should say the Sweet 16, and then the Elite Eight. There's a couple intriguing matchups involving NBA prospects. So once again, it's Rafael and James, and we are out of here.